Okay, we are live with my man Firestarter. Let's try to put out the fires a little bit on this one. We're just going to have some real talk about everything going on. I am having some backlash about my guest, and he was a guest this night, and I'll explain that. We'll go all over that, and we can have Firestarter knows I don't censor opinions, so he could say maybe I was naive or a bad idea to bring him on. He's going to give you his thoughts. I'm going to get to the chat here, then we'll have Andrew come on later on in the stream to say hi. Andrew's here. Here's something right away. Nerdy in many ways. I love Dawson. He says, why do we keep giving this man Andy a stage? Why can't we just leave him alone and let ourselves be happy with his absence? That's a fair question. I won't say I'll let Firestarter take it first, though, before I give my part of the opinion. So why would it make any sense for me to bring him on?
Well, I I appreciate the question. I appreciate you having me on, Max. I think it's important that, we got to have conversations with maybe people we disagree with, maybe even people we don't like. I believe in the United States, we've lost that ability. If I don't like it, therefore it's bad.
Right.
And that's kind of like our mantra right now. It's probably going to tear us apart.
Right.
Which I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong about that. But let's just say I'm glad I work a job that I can work until in my 70s and 80s, and I can work until I drop if I have to. So because I don't think there's going to be any retirement for me. That's a soapbox moment for another day. But I do think. I think it took a lot of courage to have him on your stream. I think it wasn't easy.
No, he is friends with someone I have way more issues with his friend than I have with him personally.
Sure.
I dislike a lot of things he does and a lot of things he says. But like you said, the world outside, this isn't just a DC problem. This isn't just a UK problem. This is a world problem, not even just the United States. There's other countries too that they're starting not believing results. In conversations you don't want to talk to people you disagree with, and it's a lost art. It's a hard art to do. Some people think I failed last night, like I didn't get enough points in. I would have loved.
No, I don't think so. I think Andy. I'm not going to say Andy fully commandeered the stream, but he was deflecting and going on this, going on that. I know you didn't want it to turn into blood sports.
Right. I don't like that. No.
But whoever's on the stream generally has the high ground.
Right.
Right. Because they're the one that they can rapid fire talk while you can only type so fast. So to be fair with that. But and I get you didn't want to like ambush him. You kind of held to your word there.
Well, this is what I've done the whole time I've been on YouTube. I made one mistake where I agreed to surprise someone and use like an ulterior, like, oh, just come on the stream, have some fun. And it was to question him and expose him. And it was a big mistake. And then I got blamed for the blowback. I went along with someone else's idea, and I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
I do not. This isn't. You remember Kill Streams? What happened to Matt Jarbo?
Oh yeah, he got murdered on that one.
I am not having any part of that. I'd like to have the tough conversations, but I also in the past I say this is why I don't have super chats too, because I used to have more aggressive streams than I do now. And I don't let people try to really do some nasty things through super chats, and then you have to read it and intimidate the guest. Yes, he was still my guest last night. I think he had some valid points. I think he was spinning in his opinion a little bit too much too, but it went as best as it could have gone.
Well, it's kind of tough too because he's going to have a permanent bias. If Ray Fisher called him a racist, which it sounds like either he did directly or indirectly, I don't remember from the stream.
And he said, "No man, this man struggles." So that was stretching it. I wish I would have pushed him a little bit more on that one.
Okay, but if he feels slighted by him, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Then then what that means is that Ray Fisher, in his mind, in my opinion, loses the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
That goes out the window. So this whole thing is like I said, I believe that something happened because it doesn't make sense because he did get anecdotal support from both Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa. So that further validates the claim. Now, if I don't know if it's actionable, I don't know if it's just a slap on the wrist from HR. I don't think it's anything criminal. It's I don't know. I hope he has the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he has the receipts because if he doesn't, he's done.
And I think we've also lost focus, not only just the race situation. I think we don't. The people in the DC Snyder Cut fandom do not see how others are perceiving it. It's not just Andy and his corner crew that are upset with us now. It's got to the point where it's in the general public that are looking forward to DC. It's hurting everything. Not that Ray shouldn't speak out, but it's monopolizing conversation every time something positive comes out. And we're at a point now where I think we've lost focus on Zach, the Snyder Cut, and Autumn too. I said, like last night, I said I want to boycott just because, if people disagree with me, and that's good. I'm fine with disagreement. Just because I see him being treated the same way he was when they took him off the cut. I've never seen such disrespect thrown at one of your creatives, throwing shade on the project. Like, why can't they say, "Oh, we're happy he gets to complete his vision," just leave it at that? Not say it's not going to lead anywhere and throw so much shade on it, or say, "Let's see how it goes. Let's see what."
Well, if you're gonna dunk on his vision, why even do the Snyder Cut?
Well, it's not. There's still a war going on at Warner Brothers. Andy was right at that.
Okay, I mean, because that makes no sense to me. Like when I heard the Snyder Cut was announced, I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought that shit was a myth.
No, yeah, the people that were Warner Bros. has issues for years, like the upper executives and stuff. And when AT&T bought them, AT&T really is the one that said go ahead with the Snyder Cut, because if Zach didn't have all that stuff on his computer, this would have never happened. Besides the fandom, if Zach didn't have some foresight and keep track of everything, this would never have happened. Getting it from the vault of Warner Brothers, hell no. So they're still actively, we do not want to go this route. They're so fighting against it. And I don't see, there's no sympathy for this man's situation of even come back and complete. What if you were the president of DC, even if you didn't think, oh, this is not my jam, this is not the way I want to go for DC, wouldn't you at least say, you know what, we're glad he gets to complete his movie. Please support this on HBO Max and leave it at that. I just feel the same thing. They're so shady about this project. Walter Hamada included. I mean, I think also the Walter Hamada thing, that was the big mistake for me from Ray. I'm not afraid to criticize Ray Fisher. I just think that puts us in a bad situation where you could still have accountability without saying I will never work with him again. And now Cyborg, which representation does matter to people. We are not going to have one of the prominent Black superheroes in the Justice League now because fans don't want him recast, which I understand. And now
he doesn't want to do the work anymore. So
right. So we're in a weird spot with that, and he was an important part of the Justice League.
Yeah, again, it comes down to I do feel bad that. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to speak out against your employer. I don't care if it's you're working fast food and the manager's treating you like shit, and you have the balls to say something about it, or you're working in a chic Manhattan law firm. Like it doesn't matter who. But I just pray to God he has the receipts.
Yeah, me too.
Because if he doesn't, he is sunk. I mean, there's no. He seems like a good guy. He seems like a decent guy. He's well spoken. Yeah, and you know what it is? He says that he's prepared to sacrifice his career. Well, I mean, I tell you what, man. If I were making his money, I would not be prepared to sacrifice that.
Well, here's the general consensus in the comments section too. People think it wasn't a healthy conversation last night. Listen, I completely, like Mark Hamill once said, I fundamentally disagree with his point of view completely. Even with the doxing situation, he says, I won't dox it. He said, but I understand why that he threatened that. No, there's no excuse for that. If I'm just criticizing your words, that's not a man that does that.
I mean, if you can't handle mean words on the internet and you have to, because there's always, people need that I win button. Egos are severely overinflated on the internet.
Yeah.
Severely overinflated. Like, you talk to me like that, it's like, shut up, dude. You don't even do anything. Calm down.
And you also reached out to me last night. I said I could add to the conversation. I knew you could. I knew it would be really interesting if you came in, but he didn't want to have more. Not just Enosh and not just Matt Jarbo. He didn't want to have more on. He's like, this is the crew that I agreed to come on with. I just want to end it here, which I can respect that, even though I have my issues with them. He didn't want to be a long. There's a list of people in the comments section that want to speak with him that have a problem with him, and I understand them, and I get that too, and I also have to tone it down. Yes, he's overbearing when this is Andy Signore, even though I don't like him. He does dominate the conversation. He likes to push his point of view, but I take the temperature down a little bit so we can have some type of conversation, and that's always better than nothing. I think. Will I have him on constantly? I don't think so. No. If there's another.
Probably
no.
not. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't. Like, Andy has his demons. He did what he did, and even if it wasn't like a Me Too situation, his behavior was unsustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did have a fall from grace. I'm sure he was making probably 10, 15, 20 times the amount of money he was making now. And that's tough, man. I feel for the guy, but I mean, at the same time, patterns of behavior happen over time. And if he keeps playing the same games, people are going to say whoa, wait a second. How you said this time, and then you said that the other time. So when he says he won't dox you, I don't know if I take him at his word. I don't know if I do, man. I mean, if you can, if you want.
I mean, will my life be over? No, I don't want it. It's more for my family than me.
I agree. Yeah, I don't want anyone fucking with me.
No, but me and Firewater, we've had conversations before. He's like, you're the smartest guy doing this. Or you look at the world. Look at the world out there. I mean, beyond, if we can't have a conversation about DC, look at people in politics. They can't have a conversation.
No, that's
each side, they object to everything just because it's the other team, even if it benefits American people.
Yeah, my opponent wants it, therefore it must be bad.
Yeah, this is horrible. This is what we've lost all across the board. If I can't have a conversation with Andy Signore, what is there in the world where Republicans and Democrats or any other on opposite sides of the spectrum political opponents across the world, they can't talk to each other? What hope is there for humanity? I mean, seriously, I don't like things that have been done, but the issues that are prevalent right here, like doxing, harassment, and stuff on nerd culture, it's just a reflection of the real world.
Well, and it's also gonna make people not want to participate.
Right.
It's gonna be like, ooh, who's that?
No, he did have a valid point. I think I also want to get your thoughts on that, about the picture with Gal Gadot holding. Someone illustrated a picture with Gal Gadot holding the heads of Hamas and stuff, and I think that crosses the line. We can't make people objects of hate. And you don't know, not that thing is probably what happened, but that also does hurt Zach. This is not, he tried to do the Us United thing. And then also the reason I went hard and I really wanted to stream yesterday is I saw a lot of people watching as he unfollowed everybody, Zach, on Twitter. And my speculation is that he might have got some pushback from Warner Brothers about activity online, especially considering the political environment right now. What are your people saying? Now look at Hamada. That I put two and two together. That's my speculation. You don't think that hurts him? It's possible it can. All this stuff could hurt Zach. I think we've lost focus. I really believe that. I don't know what's your point on that. Do you think there's anything?
You know what it is? Social media, especially with, and I'm going to minimize my political speech, especially with Trump getting banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
He was the president of the United States. Now, I believe I don't, and this is going to be a hot take. I don't think Twitter did anything wrong.
Me either.
They're a private company and they have freedom. They have First Amendment rights as well.
Even if he isn't actually believing that he's doing the orders, it's obvious that people don't take it that way, especially with these fringe groups. They think that it's coded orders.
Right. And all he had to do, and again, I don't want to get political. All he had to do is say, "As I lost." You know,
right.
I tried to fight it in the courts. It got struck down. But his ego is bigger than the universe. It's but I'm wondering though. I mean, that's kind of like an example there. So people are seeing like, oh crap. And Trump was a big draw for Twitter. People loved him and hated him. Wanted to see what he was going to say. There's no denying that. They were getting a lot of clicks on his Twitter feed there. So now they banned him, knowing that they're going to lose all that action.
Well, here's the.
Let me just finish my thought real quick, and then we'll get to Zeno. Yeah. So if that could happen to a, I guess almost former president of the United States, you know, I could see Warner just, and maybe that's not the forefront, but be like, look, we got to tighten up our social media game.
Right.
You know, we got to appear united. If you're going to work with us, you gotta play ball. It's got to play ball both ways. If Ray Fisher doesn't want to work with us ever again, then that's his choice. But I think that's a part of it. I don't know if that's the entire thing.
I see everyone doing this now, not just Warner, but I see Disney. I think they got to tighten out too, like the Pablo Hidalgo stuff, like stop interacting with fans. It's getting
great. I mean, here's the thing. The Pablo Hidalgo incident got blown up.
No, I know, but I see.
But he's a D-bag. Yeah, I mean, there's no defending the behavior outside of like, look, he had a private thought, and then it got leaked, so that kind of sucks. But and at the same time, I think Star Wars Theory. I think he has an axe to grind against him.
Mm-hmm.
And Pablo.
Well, he's a YouTuber. He does everything for views. They think about views only.
But he creates actual content. He's like,
he does. Yeah.
You know, he's not like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He's a secondary content producer. He can't produce original content. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Theory can do these what if scenarios and do other things on bot, and that's all cool stuff. And he'll get lots of views for that, and I appreciate for them. I'm not going to stop watching Star Wars Theory. I was like, why'd you go all like, you know, he went all Fandom Menace on it, and I was like, that's kind of disappointing. I kind of expect better from him, but he did it. It's not the end of the world. You know, but Pablo Hidalgo does not do himself any favors. Mm-hmm. If I were Disney, I'd be like, look, you need to knock this shit off. He's the most popular Star Wars YouTuber, and there's no denying that. I don't, you know, there's other popular ones out there too that are cool, but like, you know, he did a reaction. Leave it alone. You know, like don't talk shop in public if you can't even fake it in front of the fans and just thank them for their time and whatnot. I understand you don't want to be a punching bag, but then just don't interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't interact with them. That would be my opinion.
I think we actually have to be. Should we walk on eggshells? I don't say that's the word, but we all have to examine. Listen. The Capitol Hill thing changed me. I'm like, words have more impact and influence than you realize. Like I when I first started YouTube, I'm like, no one believes this shit. No, people get under the influence. Words matter. Memes, are they just memes, bro? They can be hurtful if they go across the line. The line is subjective, but look at the world. People love to hate the other side. And that's what we're dealing with here too. Do I think Snyder Cut fans are bad? No, I am a proud Snyder Cut fan. I think we've lost focus, though. I still stand by Ray Fisher, but I also think we might be able to criticize him a little bit here. And I think it's now, is it his fault that it's become a detriment to the movement? No, but I think outside here, people are getting sick of this every time. And yes, he does have to have the receipts. I don't even want to talk about it anymore, but I do want to talk. It's needed to talk about when something comes up, but we're losing the focus of the actual Snyder Cut. And then I think also all the rumors about potential projects, we're hurting ourselves now because everyone's like, this is going to happen. Ben's back. My man Enosh said he's speculating that Ben might drop out too, and I have a fear of that myself, especially. And I don't like to get in his personal life, except to say that I saw an image of him where he looked really rough, and now he's broken up with his girlfriend, and I'm concerned just because I also just recently lost a friend who had an addiction and was fine for a long time and then relapsed. And people say the relapse is the most dangerous part because you do a long time without doing it and then you get back into it, and then so I'm
no, absolutely, and relapse is you're very vulnerable during a relapse. Anyone is, and I'm concerned because he started drinking a crap load after what Batman versus Superman, right?
Well, I think also Warner Brothers, the environment there did drive him to drink. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying he had a big issue with Warner Brothers about his own project. Forget about what they did to Zack Snyder. He worked on that for a long time. He said it's the best script he ever wrote. He loves Batman. He also had something to prove, even though we like Batman vs. Superman. He had something to prove the general audiences that said, Batman vs. Superman wasn't that great, but the Batman scenes were awesome. So he had something to prove, and they micromanaged the shit out of it, especially after Batman v Superman removing Zack, and then ultimately went with Matt Reeves, which is not fair because I like Matt Reeves too, but Ben Affleck has done a lot for Warner Brothers with all his projects in the past. He's a Academy Award winner director. He deserved every shot for that. So they messed with him too, big time. And it's the typical Warner Brothers. There is a long history of Warner. Just look at the show Entourage. They called out Harvey Weinstein before it was a thing, and they said some of the
they made like a joke about it, right?
Right. They also had a big storyline about the executives at Warner Brothers and how once they don't like what you're doing, they try to sabotage everything and cause problems for you. And that's also the executives are still there, even though AT&T bought it, and they're still trying to maintain control, and that's why there's still whose ultimately fault is this? It's Warner Brothers, because they've let their dirty laundry, even if it's the dirtiest of laundry or not, depending on the receipts of Ray Fisher, it's now reached to the fandom, and they're still. I think you said in the comment section, DCEU, the future is still a shit show. A dumpster fire, where they're so against Zack's future, where he actually has a blueprint, but they don't have one of their own except remove Zack.
Yeah, Zack Snyder bad, right? And so that's where I like, again, if they really thought Zack Snyder's vision was a cul-de-sac, fine, fair enough. But then why even do it? Why even do the Snyder cut? Justice League was out. It wasn't really critically. I thought Justice League sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I like the scenes with Batman and Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I like the scenes when they're all together. I thought that was pretty cool. But and so that's kind of like I just don't like. And then there's Snyder cut. Then Andy's like, "Well, the Snyder cut doesn't exist. It doesn't exist." And then he gets proven wrong, and then he tries to spin it, and it's like, dude, you're proven wrong, dude. There is a Snyder cut.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't exist at the time I made that. It was like, you don't know that for a fact. You can't prove that. There's no receipts on that. But I don't know, man. I just feel like he is very polarizing because he does talk a lot of shit. I feel like Andy. My assessment of him is that I feel like he still has the ego of when he was at Stream Junkies, because that I used to watch Stream Junkies all the time, and then all that crap happened, and I got kind of turned. I was like, oh, I don't want to be around that shit, And I know they fired him and whatnot, but even regardless of Me Too or not, he was an HR liability.
Mm-hmm.
He was, and and again, I know he's not here to defend himself, but just based off his past behavior, which I think he would even admit was inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to jump down his throat, but I think his ego is still very large.
Oh, yeah.
He does have a decent YouTube channel, but he is nowhere near. He was all champagne tastes and caviar dreams, and now it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Not so much.
Here's Dawson's view. He disagrees with. He provides a toxic environment that personally I don't want my life and don't want my friends in lives. That's why somebody said I can understand that. I just hope you understand my viewpoint. where I've always tried to have different opinions. I joke with like Zeno that says he's a producer. People Zeno pushes buttons, but I also had an obligation to my longtime viewers that have been here before the Snyder Cut viewers always know that I try to get a difference of opinion with people I disagree with, as long as they're not belligerent on the stream, like constant F-bombs and nasty talk. They're welcome on the stream. Even people I completely disagree with. If the person that said that he was going to dox me wanted to come on the stream, I'd let him on too. I would talk to him about that. That would be the first thing I would say, but I would talk to him too. If my former friends, which I'm not going to name, say I want to come on a stream, as long as I know ahead of time and they're not trying to like, someone gave them the link and said, "Get me on now."
You're not getting ambushed or something.
Right. I'm not getting an ambush, but if they say, "Hey, I want to talk Friday," yeah, I'll talk to them. I would like to talk to Stephen Walton sometime again. I may even talk, and people really, I shouldn't even say this. I'm not even say the next one. You can only guess the people I've talked to in the past that I might talk to again. Yes, I do talk to people. It's worked well for me so far. I talk to more people, maybe not celebrities, but I think I talk to more actual YouTubers than a lot in this game. And that's why, and it's worked for me. And Zeno knows that I still try. People told me not to talk to Zeno anymore because he pushes buttons, and I never, to be real. So I think that's the problem in this world is people they stop talking to people they disagree with. Guess what? The people are still in the world. They're still in the fandom. If Andy's not on my channel, he's going to be saying it somewhere else. At least I could give a counterpoint. That's my thoughts. I think it was worth a conversation. People think I failed. I not censoring anything. If you did, I think I did an epic fail. Go right ahead. And then I would have liked to bring Enosh on or Matt Jarbo, but we have to understand these. I love Matt Jarbo. I love Enosh. They do still have big egos. It would be a hard conversation.
Yeah, they're good people, though. I mean, yeah. I like them both. And
yeah, it'd be hard to control that conversation.
But if you promised Andy that you're going to come on the stream, but then only the current people are going to be on, and if anyone drops out, we're not adding new people. Then you have to stand by that word.
Right, and
you have to keep your credibility intact. And I know Enosh is your friend. I know Matt is your friend. They're like, and they were in the chat like, put me in, coach. You know.
Well, I mean, they were doing their comments in this. I mean, if they weren't commenting, I don't think the subjects would have came up. But they were comment to put some blame back on Enosh and Matt. They were understandably they wanted to talk to him directly. But they were also bringing stuff in the chat that steered the conversation that way to Andy because he commented on it, but he's like, "I'm not talking to you on a live stream." So
Andy had the high ground because again, it's sort of like when somebody heckles somebody with a microphone.
Yeah,
like at a comedy club, and and the guy's like, "I got the microphone. Nobody can even hear your stupid bullshit." You know, not saying that their shit was stupid bullshit, but I just saying that like it's they're fighting with a couple of arms tied behind their backs. You know, when it's chat versus voice will win overwhelming majority of the time. And so I think Andy knows that. He's not I'm not going to say he's a dumb man by any stretch of the means. He's made some mistakes, but I think he's reasonably intelligent, and I think he knows how to kind of when there's blood in the water, so to speak, how to take advantage of it. But that's where with
binge buddy. Oh, Snowdub says, "Hey, there's Star Wars and Marvel." He's laughing at me.
Snowdub's funny.
No, but I did get more comments. Like I had some people saying I was a traitor on Twitter. I had someone in the comment sections say, if you want to continue to have the support of us, that you have to, maybe you're naive or maybe you wanted just the clicks. I do want people to view my content, but that's not my focus of having him on. Is strong conversation is the focus. Maybe I could have gone harder on him, but it was hard because like, he is a big personality. Even though I don't like things he does, he is a bigger personality than I am, and he's hard to control. But I do think that went as well as it could have gone.
Yeah, and to be fair, to be critical of Enosh and Matt, and again, I like them both. It's nothing personal. It's that when they were kind of going on the chat, they honestly that was a losing battle. And unfortunately, and again, Andy had the high ground. He was able to rapid fire, bop, 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 and you can't compete with that in the chat. I would have if I were them, I would have never went after them. I would have tried to get on the stream via back channels, and if you shot it down, I either would have left the stream or I would have been silent in chat. Probably would have left the stream if I were them. It's just like, I'm going to take a dive. A dive. But I do think though that he did try to pull some. I'd have to rewatch it and look at the specifics because there's one claim he made, and I was like, I don't know about that, dude. Hold on a second.
Right. There's things I completely was like, what? But this is the problem with this is something else that I've realized in 2021. Are people just spinning, or do they actually believe their point of view? Again, not to go political, but looking at the Capitol Hill thing, people actually believe it. So I actually think now, like I used to think people couldn't be that much influenced by social media and YouTubers, even if it's bullshit.
Especially the right wingers that were calling out the left on it,
right?
And then those people do the same thing.
Well, to other people in like geek culture, where I think like the corner, I used to think he was just full of it. I do still think he's full of it, but he's just doing it for no. He actually believes what he says, and that's what's interesting to me. To get someone on that actually believes completely something opposite of you, they actually believe it. Is Andy spinning today? Did I fall for a trick? Also, said, see, you just fell for his trick. He's saying Snyder Cut fans are finally realizing what fandom they're in and something like that. I didn't watch a video yet. There are problems. You have the best way to have a healthy fandom and environment is to evaluate yourself and not just let the opposition do it. I think we do have problems. And I think mainly now we just need to get back to basics, focus on the Snyder Cut. I really hope no other Ray Fisher news comes out. I really don't. Unless he finally drops the receipts.
Well, I hope, and that's what I was going to come on and say. It's like, well, why isn't he done it yet? Why isn't he done it? Well, there could be a multitude of reasons.
Yes.
Maybe when he released that statement, his attorney says, if you do anything like that again, you're gone. I'm dropping you as a client. I'm going to drop you. You're not going to be my client anymore. And so now it could be they're doing damage control. It could be a slow burn. It could be a bait and switch. You get them to deny something, and then, wait a second, I got this recording. Sort of like what Gretchen Carlson did to was it Roger Ailes, Fox News?
Mm-hmm.
No, deny everything. Yeah, okay, I got you on tape, dude. So no, deny it. That's great, because now when we go to court, you're fucked. And that's kind of like the reality is.
The other reason I didn't want to bring other people on is I really wanted to put the point through about what he did to Andrew was bullshit, where he surprised him on stream. And if I do the same thing to him, I'd be hypocritical because I want you only on for what we were agreed to talk about. I don't want to surprise you unless it's natural in the conversation instead of the gotcha moment. What are you doing? Because he can't be Andrew, and I'm going to bring him on in a moment. He came on to talk on Andy's stream about Snyder Cut. And then they said, why are you on other people's streams? You have to show loyalty to here. I'm going to put you in a timeout on your, and this is just the kid that.
Oh, so what? He brought him on to kick him off?
He brought him on to berate him with a group of panelists saying, I heard you're talking stuff about me on other streams, when it's more like like he said, oh, you're on Max's stream, you're on Enosh's stream, and this is a 20-year-old movie talk fan. I think that's really bad for movie talk. Who can you talk to? And I think my main big issue with him still, and he says, I don't want to deal with it, and it's my prerogative. Andy said, I think he cuts off conversations too much. And that's where instead still attacks. Attack. I don't need to talk to you. So I think that's a lame thing he does.
Yeah.
He goes on the offense and he doesn't.
The second he has to play a little bit defense, he folds like a cheap suit.
Right, exactly. So that's my major criticism. I'm still, and he basically said it's my prerogative. I don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
So I mean, that's where I am completely different. And here, Andrew wants to come on.
All right.
He's a nice kid.
But that's kind of dick of Signore trying to bring a kid on a stream just to blast him. Like, that's not cool, man. I would have said, hey, man, I got some problems with you. We're going to settle it either privately or via DMs. I don't. You want to publicly bring somebody on to just blast the hell out of them. I can't get behind that. There's no, under the pretense that they were going to chat about Snyder Cut.
Right, and then they didn't even get to that. They got to, what are you doing? You're in a timeout. You got to I have to really think if I'm going to let you on again. Andrew hasn't said anything really volatile about Andy Signore. Maybe a small poke, from what I've seen.
Is his ego that fragile?
Yes, it is.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Max.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
It's going good.
Were you upset that I had him on last night at all? Any criticism?
Well, no. I didn't realize it was gonna be. You guys were going that civil, and like,
well, my plan wasn't to stream with him last night. I set up a thumbnail, and then as we were, he appreciated that I called out which if someone says, even someone I oppose and I think they have a point, I'm going to highlight it. That was basically it. I said on Twitter, I think we should disavow this type of behavior in the Snyder Cut. It only hurt Zach, and it's not a good moment.
I didn't think he even knew you guys were on last night.
Okay. Well, there was a faker in the chat, and then I messaged him on Twitter.
So okay. Yeah, I'm guessing. And now I know that what he said when he brought up me last night looks like I'm no longer back on.
That's lame. I don't like that at all. I think like I said, Andrew, say whatever you want about me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It
was all because of the night before when we were watching that video he did when Enos was on.
Well, listen. Is he legal enough to join the armed forces and stuff? Yes, but I people change as they grow older. I don't like it. Young movie talk fans. That's not helpful or healthy to the environment to dunk on younger movie fans. I don't care. That is a talking point for me. 20 years as an adult.
Like he said, he's had some trust issues in the past, and he's trying to be careful. But I get what you're saying.
No. I mean, I'd like to get firewater on this one. What do you think? Just because 20-0, it's fair game, or do you think this is not a thing to foster in the movie talk community? My opinion.
I don't like. Look, in terms of Signore's behavior.
Well, just in general, like it's what some people. I said some crazy stuff when I was 20.
Yeah, no, I'm 38. I'm not the same person I was when I was 20.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be 21 in a few days.
Oh, congratulations! Hopefully, a bar's open nearby for you.
See, people laugh at that. People laugh at that. I don't like it. Like I have other younger movie talk fans, especially in the age of social media. You've changed as you grow, and I mean,
no, I think. It's yes, he's technically an adult, and I said in the chat, to be fair, I didn't consider myself an adult until I was 26, and my fiance at the time, who's not my wife, we bought our first place together. Mm-hmm. When I was 26, she was 24, so we bought our first home together, and we were fortunate that we never had to rent. We were very, very lucky that we both were able to muster up enough money for a down payment and put a little bit more than 20% down, buy our first place. So I mean, to be fair, I mean, like, look, is 20 is it an adult? Yeah, sure, of course. Anything over the age of 18 is absolutely. But
each year is how old I am.
But at the same time, it's I think we need to take within context. It's like, look, how old is Andy Signore?
I'm guessing he's like his 30s or 40s.
Is he, when he's going to talk to somebody half his age that way?
Right. I think there should be.
Do you feel like a man? Do you feel like you're powerful? Do you feel like you're strong?
I mean, this is the age of social media too. Someone that is 20, They've had most of their life on social media, so it's more devastating to younger people than it is to older folks. Like me and you, Firestarter. If we have a bad day on Twitter, it's a bad day. We might move. We might disconnect
If
for
I
a
had
while.
to delete all my social media tomorrow, or face a dire consequence, I'm not going to face the dire consequence. I'll get rid of my social media.
Right.
I'm actually nervous what's going to happen. Well, technically later today. I hope to God that inauguration goes flawlessly.
Oh yeah.
I am just praying nobody tries to do anything stupid. I'm really, really
it's
hoping.
looking like a police state, and they need that much National Guard.
I think they do.
Well,
Yeah.
They have to show people
apparently
that
they're not even voters.
they're not fucking around, because the Capitol siege should have never happened.
Well, the thing is, they have to do it publicly too, because there's
You have
people
to
that
show
don't
shit.
even think he's legit. If you don't do it in the public, people will say, "Oh, it was never legit. He got sworn in a room somewhere." You know. So
Yeah.
they have to. I understand the reason they have to. Yeah, I just hope everyone stays safe.
Yeah,
I think more
I don't want to see.
I
anyone
think
get
more
hurt.
discourse is better than not completely. If again, I go back to the Mark Hamill. Fundamentally disagree with how Andy Signore handles things, but last night I think was best Andy Signore that I've ever talked to, and I think there was some good that came from
I think until he got egged on by the chat, I thought he was reasonable. And then he kind of took advantage of his high ground, which, to be fair, if I'm getting blasted for, I can't say I'd do anything much differently, but
Yeah, I mean,
he did try to spin some things. I don't agree with his treatment of Andrew here.
I did tell him in the chat I got no beef with him, despite that one thing I did the other night.
I mean, I think he took advantage of the fact that he's a fan, and maybe he said something, but I was like, dude, man, you micromanage everything. You micromanage your skin is that thin? Oh man, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was saying
tough,
in the
dude,
chat,
I wouldn't want to
someone
live
else
that way.
commented telling me that, like, you said what you said, you made your decision, now you have to own it.
I mean, I'm
it's not
sure
that
the
serious.
overwhelming majority of the fandom menace hates me. I don't lose sleep over that. I could care less. I'm still going to have my criticisms. And actually, I left a lengthy professional criticism of Jeremy's latest video where he's a little self-conscious about John Campea targeting him, even though
really?
Campea doesn't mention him by name. Yeah, so I left a nice. He won't read it.
Oh, I got to see that video of John Campea saying something that's vague, but
yeah. Well, he was sort of half defending Pablo Hidalgo, saying that whole thing with Star Wars theory was just overblown, which I agree.
Yeah,
it's like, look, dude, he said one tweet, and you're gonna fucking fall apart over it. Then you're not, and if it's that much of a big deal, Jeremy, then you're not the alpha you think you are. I'm sorry. It's just these fake internet alpha. Like, I've been around what you got to understand. My father was a fireman. He was a professional. He had 37 years on the job. I've been around alpha men. I don't consider myself one of those guys. He's had firemen that were in armed services. They were former police officer. One guy got stabbed in a bar fight protecting his wife, and he still came out on top. These guys are tough fucking dudes, man. My father grew up with 2 nickels, in his pocket, man. He got into street fights. He had to do what he had to do. Thank God he could play basketball. That's how he went to college. He could fucking ball out. But it's then you see, like, yeah, I have opinions on a microphone. I'm a tough guy. It's like, oh, dude, just stop, dude. Just stop. It's
I think it's really pathetic for middle-aged men to be dunking on people half their age.
It's kind of shameful.
Man, to see what Andy did to me, imagine what happened if I met Jody. Woo!
Yeah, well, imagine if he actually really did something worth blasting you like that. I mean, like, to me, he was probably trying to, he was trying to look tough in front of the other panel people. Like, I'm not gonna, this is what happens when you talk shit to me. Shut the fuck up.
Like my friend Ryan said on stream, it wasn't just to berate Andrew, it was a message to all his followers. I know you're going on these other people's streams and don't think you're going to be able to come back here if you even slightly talk bad about me because of my thin skin. So that was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say what I'm going to say about Andy. What is he going to do? Does he really want to find out who I am? Am I really that important to him? And if I am, you do what you need to do. I have a fucking war chest. I'm not worried. Does he have one? He had to move from California to Florida with a lower tax state.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just throwing it out there. But it is what it is. I don't think he's gonna do anything. I think he's got bigger fish to fry. He's got to worry about next month's rent. Like we all do. And I'm not like criticizing. I got my mortgage comes out on the 1st. Like it comes out on February 1st. I got to make sure my money's tight, and we got everything going.
I mean, regardless of your politics, I do hope the American people do get a new stimulus.
Oh yeah, I don't even qualify for that shit, but I do. I think $800 was like, are you fucking kidding me? $2,000, I think, should be the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned when the moratorium's expired.
Yes,
because at some point the landlords can't absorb the heat forever.
Yeah, and there's all that back rent they haven't taken
out.
And
so what do you do with the back rent? Do you bail out? I think the bank should have to eat it, because ultimately with most properties, right, usually there's a mortgage to pay. Now, some people own their buildings or the houses that they rent out outright, and that's great for them. But for the most part, a lot of them have mortgages, and so if I don't get rent, I can't pay my mortgage. I believe there's a moratorium on excuse me, good Lord, on credit score. Like if I'm a landlord and I'll pay my mortgage, they can't fuck my credit score up,
Mm.
But at some point, there's going to be a margin call. There's going to be like the banks are going to be like, look, you got to pay the mortgage at some point. And we know what the government's saying. Can't do it forever. And I do feel bad for people that might lose their homes soon. But there are some people that are taking advantage of it that were fully employed.
Yeah.
That's
the opposite side too. The people that are landlords. I mean, landlord's a dirty name, but I mean, they have businesses too, just like everyone else.
It's sure. So, I mean, I hope the banks eat it, because I could care less if they eat it. Yeah. I think what happened in 2008 when they got bailed out, they were too big to fail. I don't believe that. I believe in free markets. If they gave out bad loans, they should have to deal with the consequences. There were some local banks by me that behaved appropriately. They did not take part in subprime loan. If you did not have they verified people's income and said, oh shit, two people working at a convenience store should not buy a $400,000 house.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean.
No,
they work hard and everything like that. But
it sounds silly, but it's actually a reality in some cases.
It's tough. I mean, my wife and I, we liquidated investments. We put a nice fat down payment down. We had to outbid 6 other people to get our house. And this was not even now. Like nowadays, houses in our neighborhood, because we're friends with our realtor. He sells not exclusively in my neighborhood, but I'd say about 75%. I live in a large neighborhood. We probably have about 1,000 homes, and they turn over here and there. And it's they're high volume homes, so people want to get out of the major metro areas. I'm near major American cities, and it's a suburb, but it's basically rural. We have a lot of open farmland, but we're also near civilization, so to speak. So it's a really desirable place to live. The schools are good, from what I heard, for the kids. He's flipping homes over list, and it's crazy. So I mean, I just hope that I think they should do the 2,000 on top of the 800.
Yeah.
And I know you can't print money forever, so I do understand that. But people have to eat. They have to make sure housing insecurity is not good.
We just need to get through this. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. I have good news with my parents. They are eligible for the vaccine in February. I'm going to.
Oh, excellent! I'm signed up as well through my state. I have no idea when I'm going to be eligible.
I haven't signed up yet. I don't even know when I'm eligible. I don't.
Yeah, I'm pre-registered. They'll call me when they call me.
I don't think I might get mine until like maybe summer. And I've also been hearing somewhere that apparently, like, in order to, like, I think travel and go to work and do all that stuff, you're probably gonna need
it very well could be a requirement.
A passport app or something.
I mean, insurance companies might start doing that too. Like, we don't want. I mean, that's why one of the things that was controversial in the first stimulus is Trump didn't want. Or not Trump, but Republicans didn't want companies to be able to be sued for this stuff.
I think that's actually reasonable. I mean, because how are you gonna?
Businesses would go under all.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna weaponize contact tracing? How can you prove you got it from my place of business?
So I do understand that point too. Yeah,
To me, I think there should be liability protection.
I mean, but the reason I mentioned that is the argument is, this is like 1984. They just want to track everything you do. No, I mean, there's also insurance risks for maintaining business in this new environment, and it could be a requirement. I mean, look, if you actually believe Biden got the shot or not, you can look at all the politicians, see how they're doing. They got it ahead of you.
Well, so did Pence too, and apparently they're fine. So I mean, I think they, they're leading by example. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think Pence handled the fallout with everything with
yes,
as much class as he possibly could have.
I really respect Pence. I think he has a future. People still don't like him because of his past with going with Trump, but I give him. Let's be real. Without being political, he is the current president until Biden's actually sworn in. Even though
he's a stand-up guy. I respect what he did. It's not easy to go against your boss.
Oh no! Especially considering what they said. That's what they were chanting. I mean, you could say, "Oh, that's not really what they were going to do." How do you know? You do not know. You do not know what people are going to do in this world. You don't.
Yeah. People like always keep saying like will this ever end and all that stuff and stuff. And I did notice like that there was like this movie I saw that came out last month that was produced by Michael Bay called Songbird, and it depicts about what we're living now. And the weird thing is, and it says here that it says by 2020. I don't know if this is real or not, but people are worried this was what might happen. It says that by 2024, the virus mutated into COVID-23, and it's in the fourth pandemic years. People are required to take temperature checks on their cell phones, while those infected with COVID are taken from their homes because they're well forced into quarantine camps.
Oh boy. I hope not, Michael Bay. Thanks for exploiting the situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping that we get back to some sort of normalcy soon. My prediction is this: by the end of the summer, because the numbers dipped consistently across the country during the summer without a vaccine. So now let's say 35% of the people get the vaccine and like maybe 10 to 15% of the population beat the virus.
Yeah.
Let's just say keep the number. Obviously, this is all hypothetical. It's probably not going to be exactly like that. But so then you'd have half the population that are effectively immune. I wonder if that's enough to kill the virus out in the summer. Not now, but like in the summer. I don't know. I'm not an epidemiologist, but I'm hoping that, I'm looking forward to maybe getting that Johnson & Johnson vaccine because I hear that because Moderna and Pfizer are two-steppers. So shots.
That's going to really be a game changer.
And they're two different doses. The first dose is much lighter than the second dose. The first dose is like a primer for your body, and then you get whacked with the real good shit. Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca are single dose, but they might not be as effective. But I heard I know people that are on the list to get their second dose, and they're like, oh, sorry, we have to push it out. There is no second dose.
That's a problem.
And it's like, well, if I get the Johnson & Johnson, it's one shot. And if it's over 80% effective, I think I'll get it, but I heard their efficacy is in the 70s, and I'm like, Pfizer and Moderna are like 90, 95. It's like, you know what? Maybe I'll suck it up for the extra 20 points.
Well, my parents are signed up for the 2-dose.
Yeah. Well, everyone is because Johnson & Johnson doesn't even have an AstraZeneca. Don't even have FDA approval yet.
Good thing you mentioned that. I mean, my mother did this for my father and her because they're high risk, but I didn't even realize I could register too, just so when I'm eligible.
Yeah. And like I said, you might not be in the appropriate group right now. But at least when you are, they'll give you like I got an SMS text saying like, hey, you're on the list, and we'll let you know when you're all right, cool. Like, I work from home. Like, I'm not. My wife still works in the field, so I'm very concerned about her.
Sure.
And she's going to be in the office tomorrow. I'm actually concerned about that with everything all the shit that's going on in the Capitol. But
yeah, I hope for everyone.
I was like begging her to work from home.
We need more. We need more civility across the board. And listen, as volatile as you thought last night was, the real world is crazier.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I appreciate you having Andy on. I don't think he's a good person personally.
So anyway,
go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, well, moving on to some cool topic.
He wants to talk a movie. We'll do one movie talk and then we'll go. Okay, Andrew's choice. Ask Firewater and me a movie topic, and then we'll end the show because it's about an hour. So yeah.
That's
No,
correct.
but I because this is what Andrew likes to do. He actually likes to talk about movies, and sometimes people bring him on, and he's caught up in a separate conversation, and that's why he got ridiculed by Andy. Like he just wants to talk about movies. So yeah, Andrew, shoot, what do you want to talk about?
Well, that's tough because a lot of stuff I heard came out. I don't know which one to pick.
Sorry, my dog went crazy.
It's all right. My dog's barked too. Let's see. Well, one, they said that a Batman the Animated Series sequel series is in development by HBO Max, and they casted their Barbara Gordon for Teen Titans.
Okay.
And
that's a good choice if they bring back like the original art style of Batman the Animated Series, but they also can't fumble either. They can't bring it back and it be subpar. But
yeah, that was my favorite show growing up as a kid. I watched all the episodes, and I think that would be great. I don't know if they'll do that classic animation style, but I hope it's not 3D animated. I hope it's a cartoon.
Right.
Draw it out. I mean, digitally draw it, but draw it out. Don't make it a 3D. That would kind of kill it for me.
One. Yeah, let's hope all mutations are protected. Yes, that would be. Please don't go in the Michael Bay world. Yeah, we do not want anything to do with Michael Bay, regardless of the movie. I don't like Michael Bay. I think he used to have artistic vision. Now he gets a paycheck though. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie, but like I get it. So like the virus constantly mutates and we can't keep up, right? That's the effective premise, right? Yeah.
But the animated series, that's a great.
Yeah, I didn't know that. What kind of animation they would use, because I remember during the first few seasons they had that classic look that we all know, and then by when the new Batman version came along, they changed up everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm interested. I hope if they are saying this is like a continuation, are they saying it's definitely a continuation, or just a new series, or just an homage, or what? Do you know that?
All I hear, it goes both ways, saying like it's a sequel series, saying it's a reboot. It's going both ways.
Series, okay. Yeah, I would say. I mean, could they? I have a question for you then, both of you. Do you want that, or do you want to see them try to do a live action with that tone? Is that possible?
Live action animated series? Oh man,
no. I mean, like with the story points, can that convert to live action, or it just works for animated? And it'd have to be a different tone.
I would try. Maybe I'll give it anime live action a try.
Mm-hmm. I think it should stick to animated.
Stick to animated? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
Mark Hamill, you got to get him back.
Yeah, well, you have to.
That was amazing. That
the dude retired once for being Joker.
He'll be back for Joker. I think if they are going to bring him back, I think that's the number one thing is who are you getting for the voices?
I mean, you got to get the whole original cast back.
And then what did you say the other topic was? The other animated series, Teen Titans?
No, it's the live action show.
Oh, I enjoy that show, and that is a Jeff.
Well, apparently they just casted their Barbara Gordon.
Oh, okay, cool. Firewater, have you watched Titans at all, or is it not?
No, I can't really comment on that. I don't really know much about the show.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's basically like a live action Titan got to. Oh, and they had
like young Justice League, all the sidekicks, Justice League.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne on there, played by Game of Thrones Ian Glenn.
Okay. Oh yeah, my wife doesn't like him as Bruce. She thinks it's odd. She likes the actor. She just doesn't see him as Bruce. It's like
one person thought. Some people say like his accent's way too off, and he's too old.
Yeah, he's a good actor though.
Just picture that guy from Game of Thrones wearing the Batman suit.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the funny thing is the new Batwoman show just got their new Bruce Wayne too, played by Warren Christie.
Oh, I people make fun of me, but I'm gonna watch season 2 because they're already dunking on the new Batwoman because she's it's woke got woker, all that stuff. But I want to give it a shot. Listen, it's a CW audience. I could still have fun with it. I'm not gonna prop it up next to Batman and Superman. But I'll give it a shot. People might think I'm silly for saying that. I want to see, but I'm going back to finish season 1 right now to see how it links to season 2, so I can give an honest, try to be unbiased opinion on if she's good for the role.
And
Hey, actually, I just got to chime in really quick. Max, I got to dip, man. I will catch
Oh
you
yeah,
later.
we're ending it anyway. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
say
let me
my
know.
last few things.
Let me know when you stream again,
yeah,
and
sure.
I will. I got to catch you all later. Have a great evening.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks,
All
Firewater.
right, yeah, man.
All right,
let me
Andrew.
just let me finish up real quick. A few days ago, they said that Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
I'm okay with it, but I think his exit was perfect. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, if
people
they
are speculating.
start bringing him back, if they start bringing Captain America back, and then they bring Tony Stark
I can
back
expect to see
to
that.
as an AI, like I have an idea. I think that's most likely how they would bring him back into it.
What if Chris Evans is playing a multiverse Cap?
Okay. Yeah, I have to see the execution, because if we get back to this point where there's no stakes and everyone comes back, although they do that with Superman too. Superman comes back. I don't know.
They did it with the
I'm
death
hesitant
Superman.
because I think his exit from the MC was perfect, and I would really just want to see the execution.
All right.
So I'm okay with it though.
Yeah, or he could make a cameo as his Human Torch from the 2005 Fantastic Four.
I don't think he would do that.
he could be like, he can just fly over and say, "Flame on!" And then someone
Yeah.
calls him a cab, and he's like, "Who's that?"
Yeah. Well, I do want. I thank you, Andrew, for coming on. I wanted to keep it to a tight hour because I have to work in the morning, and it's already one for me. But give props to Andrew. Go subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, just look for Mr. McGuire's face right here.
Yeah, and you're welcome on any time. I think that's where we're ended though, because I do want to make sure I get good rest for work. Last night I did not get good rest after that. It was too long.
I mean, I just finished my first day back at film school this morning.
Oh, you go to film school? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I live in Arizona, and I go to Scottsdale Film School.
Oh, cool! That's awesome, Andrew. Yeah, make sure to share that to everyone. I that's great to hear.
Yeah.
All right, well, bye everyone. Say bye, Andrew. We're gonna end it here.
Later.
All right, bye.